There used to be a big valve radio in our house. It held the pride of place in our drawing room. My grandfather was very possessive about it. He had acquired this gadget soon after his retirement from Bengal Police on the 15th of August 1947. The radio kept him company in his retirement years. My father often recalled that barely a few weeks after this radio came to the house, Pandit Nehru's voice rang out of the gadget.
Friends and comrades, the light has gone out of our lives and there is darkness everywhere. And I do not quite know what to tell you and how to say it. Our beloved leader, Bapu as we called him, the father of the nation, is no more.
There was a stunned silence in the room. Everybody was shell-shocked. The next day, it was Melville DeMello giving a 7-hour-long commentary on the Mahatma's last journey.
Garlands being flung into the air, policemen's sticks being raised to try and keep the crowds down. We're trying to move in closer to get a last glimpse of the father of our nation.
All this was at least 10 years before I was born. From my childhood, I have woken up to the early morning tune of All India Radio, and I have found my grandfather kind of addicted to the radio. During the 9 o'clock news, Surajit Sen and Lotika Sen's voice filled the drawing room.
This is All India Radio. Please stand by for the news.
My friends who were into elocution tried to perfect their diction by emulating this brother-sister duo. As for me, I tried to imagine how handsome would be the man with such a golden baritone voice. During the cricket matches, my grandfather was glued to the radio from 10 to 5 on all 5 days. Sometime in the late 1960s, Mrs. Chakravarti, our neighbor in Delhi, gifted a transistor radio to my grandfather so that he could carry this radio to the balcony or terrace and continue listening to voices of Vijay Merchant and Lala Amarnath giving out their expert comments on sixes hit and catches missed. Sometimes I fiddled with the transistor knob and tuned into Vivid Bharati, the only channel in which one could hear advertisements. Vivid Bharati was a hugely popular channel and soon became an integral part of the soundscape of the nation.
छोटी सी ये दुनिया पहचाने रास्ते हैं तुम कहीं तो मिलोगे कभी तो मिलोगे तो पूछेंगे हाल छोटी सी
The young and the old were hooked to Amin Sani's voice. He had a unique style of introducing filmy songs.
और देखिए जाग उठी मधुर मशहूर फिल्म संगीत के बचपन और जवानी की यादें।
याद किया दिल ने कहाँ हो तुम, झूमती बहार है कहाँ हो तुम।
अरे भाई यहीं तो हैं वो सुरमई मनभावन यादें। जी हाँ, यहीं दुनिया के सबसे ज्यादा लंबे अरसे तक चलने वाले रेडियो प्रोग्राम गीत माला के इस नए सिलसिले में, जिसका प्यारा सा नाम है गीत माला की छाव में।
By now, the transistor radios were becoming smaller and cheaper. Even the panwalas and cobblers and mithaiwalas had transistor radios, and Vivid Bharati was their natural choice. However, on December 4, 1971, when Indira Gandhi declared that we were at war against Pakistan, we were huddled in front of the big radio and absorbed every word she spoke.
जय हिंद। आपसे मैं एक खतरे के समय बोल रही हूँ। कुछ ही घंटे पहले करीब 5:30 बजे शाम के 3 दिसंबर को पाकिस्तान ने हमारे ऊपर एक हमला किया। पाकिस्तानी हवाई जहाज़ों ने हमारे अमृतसर, पठानकोट, श्रीनगर, अवंतीपुर, उत्तरलाई, जोधपुर, अंबाला और आगरे के हवाई अड्डों पर बमबाजी की।
Outside, the siren rang and curfew was imposed. The next day, the newspaper headline screamed, "It's war." I had never seen such a huge newspaper headline. But after 12 days, the headline was, "The war is over." All India Radio broadcast the news of General Niazi's surrender. Surajit Sen was the field reporter from Dhaka.
With that, this is Surajit Sen returning you to the studios of All India Radio.
Every morning, the newspaper fell on our first floor balcony with a thud sound. It was rolled and held together with a black rubber band. My father was more of a newspaper man. Sometimes he read out the headlines aloud. He never missed reading the obituaries in the classified pages. And he admitted that he was lured more by advertisements than by the news. For me, Sunday afternoons meant Bonvita quiz contest conducted by Hamid Sayani. School students of my age participated in this contest.
Cadbury's present the Bonvita Quiz Contest. Today I have the Don Bosco School of Calcutta on my left, represented by Girish Bhatt, Basudev Chaudhary and Shavik Guha. On my right I have the Delhi Public School represented by P.K. Reddy, Sanjay Chugh and Vishwabandhu Marwa.
By now, a new upstart medium had made inroads into some houses in our neighborhood. It was called television. First, it came to Paramjit's house. Paramjit was my friend. We all flocked to our house one day and had a glimpse of Krishi Darshan. In fact, our school has also acquired a TV set. It used to be there in the school library, and sometimes we trooped into the library to catch up with some educational programs. We never thought of acquiring a TV set. Grandfather was happy with his radio, and father fine-combed the newspaper. Gradually, some more homes in our neighborhood acquired TV sets. These homes threw open their doors on weekends and allowed neighbors to fill in the living rooms. I sometimes crossed the road and went to Mrs. Chakravarti's house to catch up with Chitrahar on Friday evenings and regional films on Saturdays. My first viewing of Satyajit Ray's Pratidvandhi was on one such Saturday evening.
And this isn't a matter of technology, it's just plain human courage. And it takes your breath away.
Father often kept cuttings of book reviews, film reviews, and other features in the op-ed pages. When I got married and started living in another city, I regularly received postal envelopes containing these cuttings. When Satyajit Ray died on the 23rd of April 1992, my father, who was once a close friend of Ray, prepared a scrapbook with cuttings and all the news, views and reviews of Ray and his work that came out in all the newspapers and magazines. When he visited us in Bombay a few months later, he proudly presented this scrapbook to us. After my marriage, I found my husband addicted to radio, but he listened to BBC more than any other station. He had a special transistor radio that caught the short waves very well. But the short waves were clearer when the sun was active. So, my husband eagerly waited for the solar flares to hit the Earth's ionosphere. Even though now we listen to Western music on BBC, in his childhood he used to listen to Anurodher Ashor and the Friday evening plays.
নাটক এবং ইন্দ্রজিৎ, রচনা বাদল সরকার, প্রযোজনা প্রমোদ গঙ্গোপাধ্যায়.
I also found stacks of magazines in my husband's attic. Femina, Eve's Weekly and JS, that is Junior Statesman. Junior Statesman had spawned quite a culture around itself. Desmond Doig was a youth icon. Jack Suraya and C.Y. Gopinath were the new kids on the block. Every issue contained questions posed to the mysterious cookie by Tuk Tuk and Papia Ghosh. We had firmly resisted the invasion of television in our home. We caught up with the Asian Games in my aunt's house, and when the national network was launched on August 15, 1982, we were in Srinagar, and we tuned into the TV set in the Srinagar guest house. When India defeated West Indies in the finals of the World Cup 1983 at Lord's, we were glued to our radio in Bombay. As the last West Indies wicket fell, Farooq Engineer said excitedly, "In my native city Bombay, the crackers have started bursting." We went to the window to witness the fireworks. 31st October 1984 was the fateful day when Indira Gandhi fell to the bullets of her bodyguards. By noontime, TV stations all over the world had announced the demise of India's Prime Minister.
Mrs. Gandhi is assassinated. Her son takes over.
Only All India Radio and Doordarshan clung on to her life. We were in Calcutta on that day. AIR and Doordarshan announced the news of Indira Gandhi's demise at 6 p.m. in the evening.
आज सवेरे नई दिल्ली में प्रधानमंत्री के निवास स्थान पर श्रीमती गांधी की हत्या करने की कोशिश की गई। उन्हें तुरंत ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेस ले जाया गया। वहां पहुंचते ही डॉक्टरों ने उनका उपचार शुरू कर दिया।
The next day, we watched her funeral live on TV in my father's house. This time, Rajiv Mehrotra gave the running commentary.
The lower part of Mrs. Gandhi's body has been draped in the tricolour and decorated with flowers on top.
Television finally became a part of our family in 1985 when we were gifted an Orson color TV as a farewell gift. My husband had got transferred to Delhi from Bombay, and the Orson TV accompanied us to our new home. Soon, Barki, Majli, Basesar, Lallu and Chutki became a part of our extended family. Hum Log was a must-watch program on Tuesday evenings. Siddharth Basu, the quiz master of Quiz Time, and Pranay Roy, the anchor of The World This Week, became our new icons. In hindsight, I can say that these were the golden years of Doordarshan. A program like Janvani, where the common people came face to face with ministers, was without precedence, and it has not been emulated later. Vinod Dua used to be the anchor for Janvani. Sunday mornings were spent watching Carl Sagan's Cosmos. Sagan took us to the edge of the universe. Television transformed our home. The box, it had not yet acquired the name Idiot Box, became our entertainer, informer, and babysitter. Maggi noodle became the staple food in many an urban home, and fridges were stacked with Amul chocolates thanks to their aggressive campaign. The little girl became the talk of the town. The world outside too changed. Cola wars were fought out on hoardings, and energy drinks like Complan became a part of the city landscape. Larger-than-life Amul girl and Gattu boy cheered passers-by from the height of the billboards. Soon, historic events unfolded in front of our eyes. The fall of Berlin Wall, the massacre at Tiananmen Square, we witnessed it all. And then came the 21st of May, 1991. A suicide bomber pressed the trigger, and Rajiv Gandhi and 14 others were blown to pieces.
Good evening. India dominated the headlines in the world this week with the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. Media observers in the United Kingdom said there hadn't been such widespread international coverage of any single event since the Kennedy assassination.
During the 1991 Gulf War, there was a clamor for connecting to CNN because that was the only channel that had got permission for live coverage of the war.
The Gulf crisis finally became the Gulf War at about 11:30 British time last night.
Cable TV agents in Bombay rose to the occasion. They bought dish antennae to catch the CNN signals. The subscription rose manifold and cable TV era set in. Soon the war was over, but the cable connections and the dish antennae remained. These antennae started receiving satellite television Asian region beamed from Hong Kong. Bundled with Star TV came ZTV, Starports, BBC World and MTV. Our home became a part of the global village.